Hello everyone, and welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle. I'm Becca, and welcome to the August episode. Joining me today are Ben, Claire, Jill, John, Lloyd, Peter and Sammy. How is everyone today?
Good.
Yeah,
okay,
great,
thanks,
you.
Becca.
All good.
Right.
Lovely. So I'm going to jump straight in. We've all dreamed of working at Walt Disney World, so I've got a couple of questions for you. First, if you could be a cast member at any resort, which one would it be, what position would it be, and why? And secondly, if you could work on any attraction in Walt Disney World, what would it be? Let's start with Lloyd.
Right. I thought about this long and hard because I wouldn't like any job in the hospitality industry after doing it when I was younger. So it was a tough one based on that. But giving it some more thought, I came to Yacht and Beach Club, and I'm going to be a lifeguard for Stormalong Bay. So I get to spend a lot of time outside. I might get to dive in here and there and enjoy the the fun of Stormalong Bay, or maybe when it shuts for the evening, have a little swim around. And then I was thinking, every time I finish shift with my cast member pass, I can just go in through the International Gateway, have a stroll around Epcot, or if it's in the evening, stop and have a drink, something to eat, maybe catch a couple of attractions before I go home. And that would make up for working within the hospitality trade.
Very nice. Good. Good choice.
Yeah.
Nothing
Get to
works.
save lots of pretty ladies as well when they're drowning, maybe.
As a bonus, yeah.
Well,
I wonder if Lindsay Lohan will come to stay.
I might just watch as she sinks to the bottom with some bubbles.
Why do I have to say what's going through my head now?
It's just Lloyd slow motion running in there like and
Hasselhoff.
Whilst everything else is moving at normal speed and everyone's drowning as I run in slow motion.
No, I don't think Lloyd would be Hasselhoff. He'd be more The Rock, surely.
maybe Zac Efron.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll stick on that.
I don't know. Have you seen his character in Baywatch?
Yeah, I aspire to be that sort of physical form of a man.
And what about an in-park attraction?
That's right. That was an easy one. As soon as we started talking about this, Claire guessed it straight away. So I'll give you a bit of a background. 1989, I was at a birthday party at McDonald's. So Sammy, Ben and Becca, you probably won't remember these. We used to do birthday parties in McDonald's. You have your own area. And as a special treat, if it was your birthday, you get taken behind the scenes to see the milkshake machine and the walk-in freezer and fridge. And it was a massive highlight when you're in you're like sort of between 5 and 10 years old. Anyway, went to this birthday party. It was a girl called Lisa, her birthday party. And I liked her and this other guy liked her. And her dad tried to figure out which suitor he wanted for his daughter. So he asked us both what we'd like to be in life, what we want to be when we grow up. And the first guy, Mark, went, he said, I want to be a mechanic. So the dad sort of went, all right, okay, rolled his eyes a little bit, not a lot of money in that. But then he was more disappointed with me because I said I wanted to be a stuntman. So nothing's really changed on that. I've always got it in the back of my mind. I've always wished that I'd kind of pursued it or known how to pursue it because I had no idea how to be a stuntman. But on the back of that, my pipe dream was to be in the Indiana Jones epic stunt spectacular in Disney Studios. And even though it's exactly the same every performance of every day of every year, just hearing that music, the Raiders theme go and being able to be more a part of a movie than any attraction, even Rise of Resistance, can get you, because you get to fall from the ceiling and escape from the boulder and run through the markets of Morocco, Marrakesh, wherever it was. And yeah, that I'd love that. That'd be absolutely awesome. And I'd take any character just to be in it, even Marion, just so I could be in the show.
You're not going to be the guy in the Hawaiian shirt, are you?
Even him, yeah. I can't backward roll though.
Oh,
They'll teach you.
I could see his Indy, with a hat and all that.
Yeah, I
Over
totally
my
could.
mods.
2002, I invested in the Indy hat and the proper like leatherette one as well from the stall just outside the show, and it stayed with me for many years. But unfortunately, it came to its end last year. And had to be thrown away. But yeah, I love that hat.
I don't know if I've asked you this before. Have you ever been one of the volunteers for the Indy show?
No, do you know what? I'm quite shy. So it's only in the past couple of years where I'm kind of in dad mode and I don't care anymore. I've actually put my hands up to volunteer, thinking I'd
Right.
love to be picked, but I never have. I
Oh,
never get picked for anything. As I said, like when Claire first guessed this, I said I'm always tempted to wear a really bright Hawaiian shirt in the crowd just in case they pick me out by mistake.
I can imagine you as Indy, Lloyd. I think you'd be quite good being chased by a boulder with a whip. You'd be all right.
Yes, in my imagination, now you're wearing a scarf, white scarf, glasses, and a pantsuit, trouser suit now. And
Yeah.
As Marion.
Let's not go there.
Frying pan is my weapon of choice.
Indeed, yes.
Is that her name, Marion? Is it?
Yeah, Marion Ravenwood.
Yeah, Marion. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, so that'll be mine. In lieu of actually when they need to recruit a new Indiana Jones because Harrison Ford is 105.
And broken.
And also,
And
with his
doesn't that
history
stop him?
suing movie studios when he gets hurt now, they probably don't want to use him for another Indiana Jones. So I might take a punt at that if they open up an open casting call. But yeah, they're mine anyway, Becca.
Brilliant. Good choices, I think. Sammy?
Okay, so first one was difficult. I didn't really know what kind of position I would want to hold in a hotel. I wasn't too sure, but I eventually came up with I want to work at Animal Kingdom Lodge because animals. And I want to be the person like checking people in when they arrive. Like I don't want to check them out. I just want to check people in. Because like when you check out people, like they're all sad and they're angry and they'll tell you all their woes and that. I can't be doing with that.
Sammy, I'm so sorry. I thought you meant like checking people out.
I mean, I would be checking while I was checking them in. But like but yeah, I would just love to like check people into the hotel and get there like because they'll be all excited and we'll get to ask them questions like what are you most looking forward to, and I would love to be able to place people in their rooms as well. I know that's a bit of a strange thing to want to do, but I've always kind of really wanted to see that side of it and be able to like pick the rooms that I'm in and see where's free and where's not free and stuff. Bit of a strange one, but yeah, so I would like to check people in, not check people out. But check people out while I'm checking them in. Okay, thank you. In regards to an attraction, at first I was thinking rides, like what ride would I want to work in? But I decided to not choose a ride. I would love to be Mickey or Minnie Mouse. Like who wouldn't want to be the big cheese or the big cheese's little misses, you know? I think it would be so much fun just like interacting with guests and getting their pictures taken and hugging them. I'm a big hugger. I love a hug. So it would just be like hugging guests all day as one of the most iconic characters in history. So I think that would be like a pretty cool job. What do you guys think?
In the Florida heat, though, Sammy, in that costume.
I would want to be indoors. See, I'm very specific about my
okay.
I would need to be indoors.
Would it be the talking Mickey?
Parade Mickey, I'd have to be like what is it called? Where he does the meet in MK?
Town Square.
Town Square, yeah. I would have to be like Town Square Mickey or something. But I just think it would be like so much fun to just like be Mickey or Minnie. I just think that would be really cool.
I was going to ask the same question, Ben.
With the Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Imagine, oh my God, imagine.
You could be friends with Merida.
I could be friends with Merida, but I don't know. I don't think I'd like to be a face character because the first one that I thought of was Ariel. Like I've always wanted to be Ariel. Like I've always wanted to be a mermaid. That's like my thing. But I don't know if I could be a face character. But I think I would be very happy being a costume character.
I believe Ariel has a high priority when it comes to princesses.
Really?
I believe that among the cast members there is a priority list of princesses.
Yeah.
Ariel is quite high up there because she gets to sit down a lot.
Yeah. I was more thinking just about having a tail, man. I was like, that's awesome. I want to be like, I've always wanted to do those, you see them online, those like where you get the mermaid classes where you get to like put on the pure lycra tail and like swim about. I'd love to do that. So, but yeah, Mickey or Minnie, and then checking people in at Animal Kingdom.
Cool.
Lodge. Yeah.
Lodge.
Okay, Peter.
My hotel where I would work has to be Wilderness Lodge because every time we go in, I want to stay there. That lobby looks fantastic. And going out to the geyser, whatever you want to call it, it's fun. And even the nighttime pageant that goes across the lake, even that. And I must have a bison burger there. Must have a bison burger. So it has to be, with all my heart, Wilderness Lodge. What would I like to do at Wilderness Lodge? I would like to be the person who is on the DVC counter because nobody would talk to me, and I could just I would just admire the whole of the lobby all the time.
You'd hate us, Peter.
We spent hours there.
The first person we talked to about DVC was the DVC person at Wilderness Lodge.
We were there for about an hour and a half, just talking to them.
Did they get the sale that day?
No,
they had to wait
I bet
about
you're
2-3
popular
years.
If we had the money at the time, we would have bought in.
Yeah.
The ride is a harder thing, much harder. Got so many choices. The attraction. Okay. I would like to be one of the people who guides the guests to Mickey or Minnie or any of the characters, because there's a bubbly atmosphere around the meet and greets, and it's a great boost to you when you're helping people to meet their idols, and you can talk to Mickey and talk to them and make their stay at Disney that bit better and that bit more exciting. Well, there you go. That's me.
They are some of the best CMs as well, those ones that introduce you to your characters.
Yeah.
And Peter, if you were one of the cast members that leads you to a droid that doesn't speak, like BB-8 or R2-D2, you can kind of make up what they're saying, can't you?
Absolutely, yes.
You can have a lot, but you can be as funny or as charming or as anything as you like, can't you? So I think that'd be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, I think those cast members as well, and I think particularly for busy characters, they've actually got patience as saints. They really have, and to try and keep the magic going for so many people when you've got probably children who are not in the state of which they've waited a long time. They're overexcited. They need the toilet or whatever, and it actually you're getting to that point towards the front of the queue, and actually I've seen some amazing cast members and how they've dealt with sort of potentially sort of some tricky situations, and I can see where you're coming from there, Peter. I think it's a lovely job done.
Jill.
Right, well, I'm going to say for my resort, I'm going to choose the Grand Floridian, and I am going to be a musician at the Grand Floridian. Now, I'm not kidding myself that my piano playing skills are up to the required standard, but this is in my imagination, so,
I know Jill is a very good piano player. I will say that. And of course, I have to say that as a husband, but I also say that because it's true.
Thank you, my love. The check's in the post. So yeah, I'm going to be a musician, which means that I get to hang out in the bar and in the lobby, and maybe sometimes even play in the restaurant our brain's gone, Victoria and Albert's. Although when we went there, they have a harpist rather than a pianist, so I might have to learn the harp. But one good thing about being a musician around that area is that I could make best friends with the chef at Victoria and Albert's, and maybe he'd sneak me some leftovers. So yeah, that would be me. As for attraction, everybody knows that my favorite attraction is It's a Small World, but I'm sorry, even I would find hearing that song all day just too much. So I am not going to go there. However, I think I will go for my second favorite, which is Haunted Mansion. Several reasons for this. One, it's indoors. Two, you don't have to smile all the time. And 3, you can have some fun and do some spooky jokes and some messing about and terrifying people. And yeah, it would just be a bit of fun to do, I think. So that's me.
See, I changed my mind on Haunted Mansion a couple of times and decided that I couldn't do it because I couldn't not smile.
That was the same for me. I was thinking Tower of Terror, but I was like, I can't be surly and stuff like that. I would have to be like, oh, like smiley and happy and.
It's 6 years of retail as well. They tell you you're not allowed to be grumpy. You have to smile all the time. So as I'm chatting, I'll go for mine now. So my hotel would be Riviera. And for the job, I would be the hostess showing all the people to their seats at Topolino Terrace. I can't cook and I can't be a waitress, so that's those 2 out. But hopefully with that job, it would mean that I'd be able to watch the fireworks from all 3 parks every night with that view. So yeah, that would be mine there. And attraction-wise, I'm denied on this one as well for ages, but I've decided that I would be one of the photographers, either around the parks or at the character meet and greets, capturing those magical moments for all of those families that come through.
That's a fab idea. I think now that you've said that, that would be on my list of like top 5 or 10 as well.
It helps that I did a photography course and I can take pictures
half
decently as well.
Yeah, that does help. Yeah. I can imagine being the photographer at the top of Main Street and all the people proposing and you get to capture all those things. It'd be amazing.
Oh, it would be.
Good.
Unless you get replaced by the automated sort of photo things.
Can you imagine if there's someone proposing, just like you got the foot, the whole thing?
There's a big difference, though, Becca, between a good photographer within Walt Disney World and then a really poor photographer who's just been given a camera and is just basically taking snapshots. And I've got to say, when you get a really good photographer, it makes such a difference to your holiday. You know, you get some amazing shots. You get some pictures where somebody's actually taken a photograph and they've thought about what's in the background. They've thought about where you're standing. They've thought about what it looks like when it's actually printed out. And, you know, they're few and far between these days, but they are superb. They really are.
We had a photographer at the bottom of Main Street one time who was just so pleased to be there. Disney had given him a job as a photographer and trained him at their place, and he was just so happy to be in a job, and he was just a great CM because of it.
Yeah.
It was really good. Photographers can make or break your holiday, really.
Right, who next? Ben.
Okay. Well, for the resort, there's too many sort of ones to choose from, but I think I'm going to go for the greeter on the door, just saying welcome home. Just when you think, hey, we've all went on a long flight, we've arrived by car, we're just excited to get to a hotel, drop bags off and just get to the parks. But just saying that 2 words of welcome home always just makes me feel like I'm at Disney. And I'd just like to just bring that joy to anyone that walks through. With the attraction, I've had a lot of thought.
You never said which hotel. Did you?
Any of the resorts.
I don't know.
Okay,
Is that cheating? Is that cheating, Becca?
Okay. Specifically,
thing
then.
is, Ben, you don't strike me as like the security sort of bouncer type.
See, not the security, just the nice person you see. Just like the if I had to choose a hotel, it's probably going to be Grand Floridian. It's one I've always wanted to stay at, and I can't remember his name.
I know you're going to say, because you've got 80 years of job security, haven't you? If you're the greeter at Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either. That's that lovely bloke.
See, I wanted to say Albert.
No, I met him and I can't remember. I've got a photo.
Yeah, I've met him as well. He was lovely.
I'll find the photo for the show notes.
Oh, bless. He died last year, didn't he?
2 years. 2 years ago.
Is it 2 years? Wow, that's gone quick.
His name was Richard. Richard Girth.
Oh, I can see you all grey with your glasses on. Ben hanging around the wedding motor out the front.
Sorting out the girls' dresses on the stairs.
It's an ideal retirement job. So imagine retiring at the Grand Floridian. I think that's dreams of a lot of us, really. But going to the attraction. I'd like to be one of the. Okay, does it have to be an attraction, or can it be in a land?
I think we can go for in a land, considering
because
I'd
I'd like
to
to be
a
the
photographer.
stormtroopers that roam along around Galaxy's Edge, and like ask guests for ID and ask them to move along or put their face masks on.
You don't get to take the costume home, Ben. you got to hang it up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is that all right, Becca?
That's fine by me.
You can make a homemade one and pretend.
Keep that lightsaber away from me, Ben.
I'm more of a Han Solo kind of girl anyway.
Is that a pistol?
Florida in August, you're brave.
Or should I be the ones that are at Disney Springs that are shouting social distancing?
I think
Sort of
the
warnings
ones
at them.
at Hollywood Studios will be better.
Yeah,
Be more fun.
yeah. We've had great interactions with them over the past few years as well.
Actually, even when Galaxy's Edge wasn't open, we had great interactions with the stormtroopers wandering around Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah, my choice was either that or work in Rise of the Resistance. It's one of the First Order.
You don't get a second choice.
That was my honourable mention. I don't want to sneak it in. It's in the same land. It doesn't count.
Oh, so now we all get an honourable mention, Ben.
Well, we found that last time, didn't we, Sammy? There's always room for an honourable mention.
So, John.
Right, I'm going to start with my resort. And as much as I'd love to don those the red swimwear and be a lifeguard at Stormalong Bay at the Orton Beach Club, which I really would have wanted to do, Lloyd. But I don't think I've got the concentration levels to actually see me to the lifeguarding bit. I think I'd be far too distracted, you know. So I'm going for the dream job in the most amazing place. And actually, Jill, you're going to be in my band. Because I'd actually love to be the band leader for the house band at the Grand Floridian. I'm the least musical in our family, and as much as I'd love to be able to today, I'd be able to sing for the Voices of Liberty in Epcot. I don't think I'd cut it on that one. So I'd need our Joe on drums, our Josh on guitar. Jill's obviously now going to be playing piano for me, and I'd love to be able to do it. The whole of that lobby at the Grand Floridian is the most amazing place, and the acoustics in there are just absolutely amazing. And we've just sat and watched the band so many times and just been transfixed by just the sheer beauty of it, and the music that they make is just incredible. And to just be able to just jam Disney tunes every night of the week would be something to behold for me. It really would. Plus the fact that you've got the smell of the Grand Floridian just to take home with you every evening would be quite pleasant. And as for my ride, now, my immediate thought, I was wanting to be a cast member on the Keys to the Kingdom tour, or maybe Behind the Magic, but I'm going to stick to the exact terms of the question. So I'm going to go for a ride. I'm not going to start cheating, as is happened in the past.
Excuse me.
Yes, Sammy.
If you look under the attractions on the website, it's not just rides.
It says a ride in the script. I'm going for Tower of Terror. And I've got to say, over the years, yeah, it's my most favourite ride. But the ride is made so much better when you get a quality cast member who totally immerses themselves into the actual ride. They just completely make the experience so different. I'd love to be one of those who just sort of helps to make that pre-show a little bit more scary, but I'd also love to be the person as you shut the doors and you just push your face straight in towards the windows of the carriage, and everyone's looking at you, and everyone thinks you're probably crazy and things like that. But it's it just adds so much. Just like the same cast member who, when you think it's all over, they open the doors at the very end of the ride and then shout at you really quickly as you're about to get off, and it scares quite a lot of people. And I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that, because I think it's one of those things that if you actually get into what the ride's meant to be, and you understand, I think the quality of cast members there as probably the training hasn't been as hot probably in the past 3 or 4 years, and I go back to 10 years, probably even less than that. And when you get a cast member who totally gets what the ride's about, it is the most amazing feeling before you even ride the ride. So that's what I'd love to do. That I'd love to make it that quality experience for anybody who rides Tower of Terror.
I've never done Tower of Terror.
It does make a difference to the ride if you get a good cast member. We've had that in France and in Orlando.
It's the terrifying cast members that keep me off of it, to be fair.
Not just the drop.
It's the theming.
Oh, it's amazing. And I've got to say, I think a lot of the time we've had a lot of really good cast members. I must admit that. And when you get somebody who totally gets it, and I know somebody said before about, I think we were mentioning about Haunted Mansion, about being deadpan all the time, but when you get somebody who's completely straight-faced, from you getting to the front of the queue to them getting you into the line to whatever row you're going into, and then they just go into role. It's an acting part as you're giving the spiel about pulling the belt from the right. No, that's from the right, not from the left. It's from that side. And they just go for hell for leather. And I love it. I think it just is such an easy acting role that makes such a difference to Tower of Terror.
Well, I have to admit, even though I have only taken the chicken exit, Tower of Terror, so I've gone through the queue and then just gone out to the chicken exit. But even the CM that saw me to the chicken exit to the left, going down.
Yeah.
and play this part.
Yeah.
Really well. So.
I think it's funny as well, Jill, though, isn't it? Because actually, I think when you go to that, if you go into that sort of the chicken exit, as you call it, they actually make you feel ashamed. They really do. They're really sort of doing their best. If they're one of these cast members, they make you feel ashamed for not wanting. They feel hurt that you're not staying in the hotel. And I love that.
Becca, if you can do Haunted Mansion, you can do Tower of Terror. They're similar, I would say. No. I don't mean the ride. I mean the cast members and the atmosphere.
I'd say the ride's a little different.
Oh, the ride is different.
But if we don't tell me, we might get away with it, Sammy.
But Becca said the thing keeping her off Tower of Terror is the cast members.
And the theme in itself.
I think it's more than the cast members myself, Sammy. I think it's that drop. It's that drop and then that lovely ride right back up to the very top for the photograph while you're screaming at the top.
I'm trying to give Becca no excuse to not go on it.
I've got a video that I'm not even going there, Becca. I won't put you off. It's brilliant.
What you'll have to do is you'll have to come down to Paris with us one day.
Yeah,
and drag me on it.
We need to do. Yeah,
I'll happily do that. I'm happy to drag people on rides. Happy to do it.
So that would mean, last but not least, Miss Claire.
Yeah. Oh, this was a hard question. There were so many choices, wasn't there? I don't know if anyone else found it difficult. So, as per usual, I might bend the rules slightly.
Right, Claire, I'm going to stop you there.
How did we know that this was going to happen?
I know, actually, I'm really glad I'm last because then no one else can change theirs, which is great.
But we can add an honourable mention.
Oh, absolutely.
You've already had one.
I've got about 5 on my piece of paper. So I'm going to start in a resort, and my resort that I love for lots of reasons is Fort Wilderness. And when I decided why I loved it, it was very clear to me the cast member role that I wanted to carry out in that resort. And I love the horses over at the Tricircle D Ranch. They're beautiful. But for me, the only role I need to play is Dolly Drew in the Hoop-de-Doo review.
Brilliant.
So Dolly Drew is the female comedy lead who is paired with Six Bits. And it is the best role in the whole show. I love the singing, I love the dance, I love the history of the Hoop-de-Doo. Like 1974, And the more than anything, I love the dad jokes all the way through it. They're really cheesy puns. The musicians are amazing. Last time we went, we were sat about 4 inches from the pianist, and he was incredible. And there's the ad-libbing, it's brilliant. So yeah, Dolly Drew for me.
What kind of name is 6 Bits? I mean, like, I want to know the backstory to that. I'm going to need some sort of context.
I think it's referring to money.
Yeah.
Even a haircut, 2 bits.
It is, but I think it also might refer to his number of brain cells.
Okay.
Thank you for clarification. I appreciate that.
Claire, at Fort Wilderness, I thought you'd want to be the cast member who checks you in, gives you the 8 magic bands, and then pretends that he doesn't know that you're not even going to camp there on the one plot. Enjoy your stay.
I've had several of them, and they're very, very earnest in terms of telling me where the toilet blocks are and the fact I need my magic band to access them in the evening. For me, Hoot-de-Doo is definitely the winner. So Dolly Drew is my character of choice. If we're going in park, so there was lots of things. John's already mentioned Voices of Liberty, so I don't need to mention that one. And I always thought that wearing the plaid of a tour guide would be the thing that I would want to do most. But actually, having had the experience of taking my daughter last year to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, I've decided I'd like to be a fairy godmother in training. So I love doing hair. I love doing makeup. And Millie just had the best time. She was totally overcome with the whole excitement of the whole experience. So for me, being a fairy godmother in training would be an amazing cast member job, because actually you the role that you play every day, making little princesses happy, and the glitter, there's glitter everywhere. I love that. So yeah, I would be a fairy godmother in training.
I could 100% see you doing that. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's good fun, and you get it's so magical. If I don't know if anyone else has ever been with a child when they've been through it, but there's magic mirrors, there's the dresses, the hair, the makeup. Oh, it's fab. Apart from that, like the coloured hair clip-in things, I wouldn't be doing any of them. I don't like those.
I think it's a good job though, Claire, this is the August show, because I know that there's probably many of our listeners who work in schools, and the very mention of glitter just brings the school cleaner. The school cleaner starts twitching the minute you get to sort of mid-November, and teachers start talking about getting the glitter out for Christmas. So thankfully we're in August, and anybody who's listening whilst in their back garden or anything like that, particularly school cleaners who very, very readily just do not, they would ban glitter forever. So
yeah, I think
not getting them to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique anyway.
It's not just school cleaners.
It's everyone.
And I think
My
anyone with
cleaners at work hate it when we get the glitter out.
I think it's anyone who's got a daughter who's under the age of 18 or has I cleaned out my car earlier, and the bit where Millie sits, I swear there was just like an inch of glitter on the floor, on the seats. Every single corner of my car has glitter in it. And that's just normal day to day. So
or a big kid like me who has lots of glitter. I have like a glittery rainbow Disney bag that I took on my first date with Connor, and his car was covered.
I'm surprised he lets you back in the car there, Sammy.
Exactly, but he does, because
that's how much he loves you.
Exactly.
You can't go wrong with glitter, to be honest with you.
I love a bit of glitter, man.
You share it with your friends. So a job where you get to sprinkle that on people without them realising. Fantastic.
Apparently, the fairy godmother in training do have something they will do for grown-ups as well.
Excellent.
I mean,
Touch my magic wand.
magic wands or something.
Hey, I tell you what.
Is that where you put the $50 note in, like tiny little folded up in your palm, and you do a little secret handshake?
Bibbidi Bobbidi Booty call there.
If you're a grown-up, they will do the hairspray bits
Oh man.
for you, and sprinkle some fairy dust on you.
Ooh.
So they
Oh,
don't
it's a
do
bit
like
I was going to say, I think
pirates.
the Pirates League allow adults to join.
I know they do on the cruise as well.
Yeah, I think
I
there
want to
is
join the Pirates League.
there is a grown-up makeup and hair experience that you can pay through the nose for.
Yes,
Yeah.
the one at Wilderness Lodge, I think. They've got a spa and salon.
But I think doing it for, making up and making a 5, 6, 7-year-old little girl, that's special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with all this talk on cast members, I think a shout out to all the cast members that have recently come back off furlough and are back Walt Disney World.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Do you know what?
Too right, Ben.
The cast members absolutely make the place, and I think that that's sometimes the difference between there and other parks, not just in Florida but around the world. The training, the commitment to the role, and the commitment to customer service is
It's unparalleled in the whole.
that's the word.
Yeah, in that whole, but in that whole
Remember.
sector, Claire, though, and I think that's where it's been so hard when the parks have been shut to understand that these people are, they're desperate to get back to work because they've missed it as much as anybody else, and I still really feel. I think I've said this a few times now. But I still really feel for those cast members who still can't get back to work because either their show hasn't started again or their particular role hasn't started again. And I think really as a podcast, I think we've been really thoughtful of these people, and we're even looking now again at sort of Hong Kong closing again, and it's so sad. It really is, because you're actually playing with people's lives, and I think everybody who listens to our show would really we're all Disney fans, and we all know that those cast members are just the most amazing people.
Yeah, here.
Yeah. They don't do it for the money.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Some of the hoo-ha they have to put up with from visitors.
Horrible guests, I know.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the cast members.
Yay.
Yeah, definitely.
Applause.
Absolutely.